now, the world is more connected than ever, yet it's more divided than ever, too. We build skyscrapers faster than we can build trust. And we have optimized productivity, but no compassion. We have taught people how to code, to pitch, to trade, and also to sell products. But we have not taught them how to respect, coexist, and listen. There's no global system for empathy, no frameworks for integrity, there, no common language for civility. Because as we face global challenges from misinformation to immigration, from AI to cultural tension, we need more than smart tech and we need stronger humans. That's why we are building the Humanity Hub. Not as a theory, not as a trend, it's a platform to make values visible and to help people measure the thing we need the most. That is how we treat one another. I'm your host, Anitha Lakshminaryanan. I'm a journalist based in Dubai, and I'm also a PR professional and influencer on Instagram and LinkedIn. And I'm joined by someone who's been building this vision for years. Patrick Chun needs a vast introduction as he's a high-tech, he is an educator, he's an entrepreneur, and also he's been building this vision for so many years, how to build a humanity hub. And to add it to that, originally Patrick was trained as an engineer. Patrick worked in high-tech development and multimedia design across Canada and the US before pivoting his career towards something towards civility, more meaningful. And over the years, Patrick realized a truth that we all feel but rarely address: the emotional intelligence, cultural respect, and ethical behavior, and some of the most critical skills in today's world. And yet we don't teach them and we don't test for them. So he set out to change that, from launching the first Humanity Hub in Hong Kong to now helping expand the concept into the regions like Middle East. So here's Patrick.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Anitha. It's very good to be here, and I'm hoping that what we're doing in the future is going to not only be in Hong Kong, which is going to be talking about the setting up some kind of a content creation about Asian culture, Asian philosophy, and so on, but also in other parts of the world. And very nice to meet Anitha. And we're talking about maybe setting up something like this, a humanity hub in somewhere in the Middle East. And I know that Anitha, you're originally from Dubai, and so you can also hopefully, over time, I can learn more from you about what is it like and over there. But it would be really nice to have a second humanity hub somewhere in the Middle East, maybe in Dubai, and that would create Middle Eastern culture, Middle Eastern content. And so with the Hong Kong Asian culture and civility, and also the Middle Eastern culture and civility and so on, and they can cross-fertilize. Different lessons can be cross-fertilized, and citizens of both regions can learn from one another in that regard. So I think that would be really good. That's what I call the intercultural awareness. Having authentic culture created locally by the experts over there and so on, and help in many things. There are four things that they can help out. One is, for example, with this kind of civility and culture, they can help individuals in finding jobs better. So they would be having some kind of points. They will be able to learn points and show it off to their friends, and also showing off to schools and HR, and so on. The reason being is in the job market now, there's very little a person can actually put on the resume and say that they really have good communication, good cultural understanding, and so on. So a lot of the space on the resumes are actually from the expert are saying that they are wasted. But now we come up with this kind of measurement, what we call the World Civility Index, and everybody can earn points and so on there. That becomes different. So HR people can actually use that as some kind of a measurement stick, if you may. And
Yeah.
to the bigger extent, you also can use it for companies, and companies can have this kind of number measuring system for what they call the corporate social responsibility, or the latest evolution is the ESG, the environment, the social, and the governance in that regard. So I think those are, a big mouthful in a very short period of time. But what I really love to do is ask Anitha, what is it like to be in Dubai? What is what I'm thinking, what our group is thinking is crazy, in setting up this kind of a humanity hub in that respect.
Dubai is also similar to Canada because it is multicultural, and there's different kinds of people. And Dubai has transformed from a desert, a creek, and now it's something like an international travel hub, where throngs of visitors visit Dubai every day because of its strategic location. It's close to Asia, it's close to Europe, it's close to other parts of the world, China or India. So it's close to many countries. So it's easier for people to travel to Dubai, and Dubai transforms itself every day. I remember like the Dubai I witnessed a few years ago. It keeps changing every week. Today,
Wow.
there are so many tourist attractions, such as you have the Burj Khalifa, the tallest tower. You have the Book of Dubai, and then you have the mirror where you can, it's like you walk on the bridge and you can see both the parts of the Dubai. That is the other side of the creek and this side. So every day, you see something happening, like celebrations galore.
Mm,
Uh, and then recently they wrapped up the Eid al-Adha celebrations. Everyone are in that kind of vibe where they just celebrated Eid with fireworks. And there's some basketball championship happening right now.
mm,
And yeah, so they are always coming up with some cultural festivities to attract people who visit Dubai because of its weather.
mm,
The summers are hot, but the winter is very pleasant.
mm,
Um, and the Burj Al Arab and the rich, it reflects both the rich traditional Arabic culture as
mm,
well as the cosmopolitan and the culture, which can, so people from different walks of life could come and have a nice time in Dubai. And Emirates kind of I mean, kinds of brings in so many tourists every day
mm,
in Dubai airport. I think if you see the figures, they are quite mind-boggling when you just look at the figures, the number of visitors visiting uh,
mm,
Dubai. Of course, it's also the economy is booming, and it's coming from tourism and real estate. It
mm,
has multicultural environment.
mm,
So it's kind of a place where you can enjoy the attractions as well as start a new life out there.
I think it's a very fertile soil to have this kind of what we call the humanity hub, and it's almost like a new category of business, a new category of industry, so that these kind of content, these kind of IP, if you may, this kind of intellectual property can be built up not just by a single company, but by a whole ecology of companies, content creators, video creations and so on, NGOs and investors and so on in that because like the Hong Kong hub, I'll talk a little bit about why we set up something like that in Hong Kong
Yes.
from Canada. And the Hong Kong situation is a lot of parents really want to send their kids to not just study and so on, but to really learn about the world because they see that in the new world order with AI and all that, we all need to be very multifaceted. We all need to be almost like a Renaissance man or Renaissance woman in that you know a little about everything, you know, not just one thing. So with this kind of cultural infusion, learning about civilizations, then they can become more well-rounded. And when they go out into the world and work, most companies now are international, whether you like to or not. They by default they're all international. So when you work in a company and you get to know other cultures and so on, the more you know, the more you can appreciate them, the more empathy. That's the main thing. It's about building empathy once you learn about different culture, the way how the way how they eat dinner, for example, that's also is about social etiquette, culture, and all that. That is empathy, and with that, that comes respect. And they do business a lot better. There are a lot of research being done and said that you have to be a well-rounded people person, not just bookworms in that regard. So that's really good in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong is a city that thrives in order, respect, and international exchange, uh, and what is happening is really powerful. Building a humanity hub there and kind of replicating it in Dubai, which is also well, especially the Middle East, where civility is deeply rooted in their culture. As I told you, like Arabic cultures elaborate and the scholars are very much rooted to arts and humanity, and their writings are their poetry is rich. So they would honor the hospitality and dignity.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
And world over, Patrick, like especially as you mentioned about ESG, that 73% of the corporate reports are unverifiable. And as you said, 92% of HR, even though they need someone with soft skills, but they're not able to, only 41% are measured.
Mhm,
And the government, we have no way to assess the civility, whether it's immigration, dating, sub platforms, or leadership pipelines. So the need of the hour is humanity hubs. So, uh, and it's very encouraging that this was built in Hong Kong, a thriving economy. Uh, and What's the key? Like what else could we do with the Humanity Hub? This cross-pollinate it, or how you in the UAE, or learn about more interpersonal cultures? Is that required to learn about interpersonal cultures to understand people?
yeah, I think so. The missing key, I think, the more the whole group works on something like this is that there were no measurement. So, like I mentioned, everybody can, on their resume can say, "Oh yeah, I'm a good communicator. I'm a good team player." But how do you prove it? That's the million-dollar question. And so the team here in Canada, they created something called the World Civility Index. And so people can go online and read an article or watch a video and earn points, or also go to seminars and the traditional classes and so on, earn points and so on. And they can show it to human resource, show it to schools and so on, so that there's measurement. Like they say, whatever gets measured gets done. So before this, there was no universal measurement. With the Hong Kong hub, they are already building this kind of intellectual property with different companies and so on. So they're already building this kind of ecosystem with this ecology, then they are marketing companies, marketing to parents, marketing to schools, marketing to companies, and even senior citizens, because there's this silver economy. People with gray hair like me, they are a good group of consumers. They got the time, they got the energy, and so on. So they also want to learn and they want to travel too. So with tourism going to be the main thing in the future, especially when AI takes over and people don't have to work that much, guess what they do? Everybody wants to travel. And so, with the Middle Eastern humanity hub and building something like this with this kind of culture and so on, these kind of lessons can be, well, just accessed by the Asian market. That not only creates awareness, it creates appreciation, like, and I said, empathy in that regard. Oh, that's why they do something like this. The more things they know about each other, the more trade, the more exchange, and so on. And so that would be something that we can look for when we talk about having different hubs in different locations. They all have their own identities and they all have their own thing that they need to do, their mandates. And then we can do the cross-pollination in that regard.
Well, that's interesting. I think that matters more than ever, because cultural clashes is increasingly prevalent in diverse cities where there is multicultural environment, where there is people from diverse cultures.
Oh,
Uh, and due to this, especially at the workplace, there's emotional burnout, right? And there's distrust between generations and I mean, there's distrust between generations, especially when you have diverse cultures.
mm,
And as you said, AI systems replacing what used to be a human connection now. Uh, so if you don't create something shared, like a shared tool for human understanding, we are going to lose that. What do you say? The very quality that keep us human, or how we treat one another.
yeah, yeah. The group here, the IITTI World Civility Index group here, we're part of the United Nations Sustainable Development, and one of the meetings they were talking about this issue too. In that, it's the social fabric that has been dismantled over the last 50 years or so for many reasons. And we need to rebuild, remend the social fabric so that people don't feel as alienated and so on. The more they feel like they're connected, the more they can communicate with different cultures and so on, so much the better. Because the neighbors could be from different place, and if they have more understandings, the more they can talk about, the more interactions they would have, the better they feel. And so it's all about mental health, wellness, and so on. And it saves money. If you want to talk about the bottom line, and that is, the government in terms of the medical bill, mental health, wellness, and so on, that all comes into play in that respect.
Yes, and um,
Oh, before I forget,
yeah.
people say, well, you gotta, this is all fluff, this is all nothing, especially if you talk about going talk to some engineers like me. And but you gotta look at something like Singapore. Singapore in 1979, they they created something called the uh, courtesy, national courtesy activities, national courtesy campaign. And they started in 1979. So now it has been what, a little bit more than 40 years. And look at Singapore, they're just saying that they are not just saying, okay, you have to be good in finance, good in engineering, good in law, and so on. Not just that, but you really need to have the society, the community feeling like a community. And so they have this national courtesy campaign since 1979. And look at their GDP now. Singapore has one of the highest GDP, and they have no natural resources. They don't have much. They don't even have a lot of land, but they have the human capital. So they focus on the human capital, and they say that they need to have this kind of courtesy, these kind of soft skills, so that people say hi to one another, to have this feeling of community. So the numbers are there. That's a big experiment, if you may, and the numbers are really there. If somebody start doing something like this kind of soft skills, civility, education, probably they won't see results for a long time. It's like going to the gym. The first few weeks, you don't see results. You only see pain. But eventually you will see results. So this is kind of same thing. This civility, education, this kind of cultivation, it takes a long time, but the results are there. And it's actually like in Hong Kong, they realize that the investment is not like investing in some high tech uh, fusion technology that costs billions of dollars. This is by far a lot less expensive, but the effect is truly there. It's parallel to the high tech. The high tech is one way, and we also have the humanity going in parallel in that regard. So that balanced the whole humanity in some ways.
That's awesome, Patrick. Just to reiterate, Mr. Patrick Chun is the CEO of IITTI and the vision behind this great mission. So this is for companies who want to hire based on EQ, or for cities that want to reward cooperation, for governments that want to assess integration, and for citizens who want to grow, or not just in their careers, but when it comes to the character as well, right?
Yeah. And also above the individual gain that people can have is also a lot of new business can come into being. So like I mentioned before, the IITTI nonprofit is just a standard in terms of the measurement. But on top of the standard, there could be many companies that can provide the real services to kids, to companies, to the elderlies, and so on. So it creates a lot of new kinds of business opportunity, new kinds of entrepreneur beyond the tech world, beyond the high tech world. Even though myself as an engineer, surprise, surprise, I'm talking about humanity and all that. But that is the future. This is pretty much AI proof, because it doesn't matter whether there's AI or not, robots or not, we still need to think about how we're going to live together instead of killing each other or tearing each other apart, if we are not careful.
Yes. So you've been feeling like the world is getting louder, harsher, faster. You're not alone. We've been tracking the wrong things for long. We are building something that tracks what matters the most, how we treat each other. Uh, this is why Humanity Hub exists, and this is why it needs to be global. And and this is just the beginning. Patrick, thank you for building it. And thank you for reminding us that civility isn't weakness, it's wisdom in action. Until next time, be bold, be kind, and help us build a world where values have value.
All right, sounds good. Okay, thank you so much, Anita. Until next
Thank you,
time.
Patrick. Yeah.